My connection specifically to autism is that my little brother has been affected by it. He was diagnosed at 3, so ever since then I've seen him like grow up to be able to go from not being able to tie his shoes to now being able to tie his shoes. He says Nikki missing or Nikki home, and like now he can communicate more about how he feels, whether it's being sick, he's sad, he's mad, where a couple of years ago he couldn't say anything. Like he would just throw a temper tantrum, you didn't know what it was for. He definitely does see specialists 3 times a week. We have people that come to the house where he's in a home setting, an environment, and kind of help work with him. But he also goes to doctors outside, and he does OT with them. He does physical therapy with them. But mostly what I've seen help him is when his family's sitting there and telling him, like, okay, Kyle, you need to say this, and repetitively doing it with him. And we also have a caregiver that takes him out and works with him about 3 to 4 times a week. Sometimes she even takes him for the weekend. So like she also works with him while still being like an older sister to him, and it's not just like, okay, well, we're going to work on this. And especially when we're at home, we're like, no, you got to say it correctly. And he'll say, help tie shoes, or Nikki, I want chips. Like he has to like put it together rather than just pointing and saying this. He was really bad with like making hand movements and like not like being socially acceptable in like when we'd go out to dinner or do any of that stuff. So like when I was younger, I was ashamed of that because I'm like, oh my God, he's different. Everyone's judging him. They're judging me because he's my brother. So then finally when I actually joined AZD is when I realized that it's not that big of a deal. Like, yes, he's affected by something, but he's so special. That's what makes him. And it's like, it makes me a better person. And like, it took my sisters and like what we do to actually realize it's not a problem. It's something that like, it should be encouraged and taken serious. Yeah, there's different degrees, and they may not be able to socially interact like we can, or maybe play sports, but honestly, they're just like us. They can't express their emotions. That's like the biggest difference. And when people see autism, they're like, oh wow, well, there's something wrong with them. There's not. Like if they're just affected with something, but that they can enhance that. My brother plays sports. He goes to school. He has play dates. He's on the he's in the bowling league. Like that doesn't stop them from being a person. It's just the way people perceive them. Personally, if I didn't have someone in my family, I wouldn't know how to deal with them. Like I've seen a lot of people who work with them, but can't handle them correctly because they're not understanding that they're not at the same maturity level, they're not at the same social level as we are, but they expect them to be. I definitely do think it depends on the degree of degree of autism that they actually have, because I know specifically for my brother, he's integrated for lunch and for gym, but class-wise, they learn slower and need more practice and more one-on-one with the teacher. While if you're in a regular classroom, you're most likely not going to get that, especially getting higher in grades now that he's about to hit middle school. It's like, it's not going to work that way. Like he has a small individual class where he's with students who are just like him, and they're targeted to their needs rather than in a class where they like expect one way of learning to teach all of the kids. To be able to see kids who are just like him coming out and enjoying what we've done for them and appreciating, like all the families are like, thank you for doing this, and just knowing that they care and it's not just something that we do because it's part of our sorority, it means more. And especially see my sister so integrated in it and wanting to work with it and like raising almost $15,000 for it. For me personally, it's amazing. I'm like, I love telling my brother. He might not understand who they are or what it's about, but he knows that like someone's out there caring for him.